Greetings viewers, welcome back on this beautiful day in South Carolina. It's 72 degrees, no humidity, and nice and breezy. Beautiful, beautiful weather. So I have been working on the block here. I've been working on the deck surfaces, trying to fix the butcher job that was done on this engine. Heads hopefully will be in very soon from the machine shop. But what we're doing here is I've got my old trusty Starrett straight edge. This straight edge is probably older than I am. It was one of the tools I inherited from my father. But we've got our tiny filler gauge here, the most minute one I've got, very close to what the absolute warpage limit is for Subaru in the factory service manual. And all we're doing is checking the warpage here. As you see, hopefully you can see that feeler gauge is not going under the straight edge, but it is actually pushing it. See, it's pushing it, it's not going underneath. So we'll check here along the center point of the block. We'll then turn the straight edge, check this way. Again, not going under, we're pushing on the straight edge and bowing the feeler gauge. We'll turn it this way. We'll check our X's. We'll check straight across the center, straight across the bottom, straight across the top, which I've already done off camera. This side of the block is prepped and ready for a cylinder head. I got to do the other side of the block, waiting on the machine shop to bring me my heads. Hopefully they'll have them soon. They were supposed to have them yesterday afternoon, but as everything in life, you never can count on things to go on time or as planned. Real quick, it is a Starrett number 385. These are still available to purchase on Amazon. I'll put some links in the description, probably add them to my Amazon storefront where you can get these straight edges for checking your Subarus. This is actually a larger one that my dad chopped down. As you can see, it's not even cut at a straight angle, so that doesn't matter as long as the bottom's still straight. Alright guys, here's the difference that taking your time and using the correct tool for the job makes when prepping the surface of the engine block for head gasket replacement on Subaru. Again, we've got our feeler gauge. We are pushing that straight edge. We are not going underneath. I've already checked this block surface. Sorry about the camera movement. It's hard to try to point the camera in the right spot and use the feeler gauge. So we'll move it. Again, we're pushing, not going underneath. You see the feeler gauge is bowing up. It is not sliding under. If it was sliding under, we'd know we have a low spot on the deck surface that we need to address. Again, pushing up. We checked flat across. We've checked the corners. We checked the top across in 2 places, 3 places. Check the bottom across, the head bolt area. Again, pushing up. Check across the oil galley down here at the bottom, where the oil drains out of the cylinder head back into the block. Check it up here above the dowel pins. Make sure we're across. Again, pushing up. So our cylinder, our engine block is now prepped and ready to go, ready for our cylinder heads. Just need to get them from the machine shop. Alright guys, so got a call from the machine shop. We got a little bit of a snag, to be expected. Every daggum step of the way in this project has been a snag. The heads, one, we've got 2 exhaust valve guides that are dropped and extremely loose. We're gonna have to get oversized exhaust valve guides for that cylinder. To be expected. It's kind of a common issue to drop exhaust valve guides on these late EJ253s. As we showed earlier, got this all cleaned up, got the deck cleaned up and got it checked with the straight edge. We were good there, no warpage. Good to install. We're just waiting on the heads. Got the master seal kit from Subaru. This is what really ticks me off about Subaru steel. So the master seal kit One, they've made an improvement because now your rocker cover gaskets, stay open, your rocker cover gaskets are finally included with the master seal kit, as are your spark plug tube well seals, and also the rear cam seal plugs, which the Subaru dealership told me they weren't, and I ordered separate, so now I got 4 instead of 2. Again, we've got all of our seals and gaskets for the cam and crank seal as normal with these kits. We've got our crush rings for the piston pin access. We got, every seal and gasket in the engine essentially. We've got our seal plates for the oil control solenoids on the heads, EGR valve stuff, water pump, timing cover. But here's what irks me about these master seal kits. They are still sending these piece of crap single layer graphite coated freaking head gaskets with these kits. They have not fixed the issue. Subaru knows that the MLS gaskets are what fixed this issue on the head gasket issue on the NA25s. But when you order a master seal kit, they still include and they still make the crappy gaskets that fail. I don't understand why. Planned obsolescence, who knows? So yeah, you still have to order the MLS gasket separately from the master kit, which sucks because the master kit retails for like $325. I think my cost on them is like $260. Still not cheap. And the MLS gaskets I think are like $35 a piece. My cost I think they're like $45 regular. But yeah, we got our 2 head gaskets. That's the part number 11044AA642 for the singular red cam for the later EJ253. So good MLS gaskets going on there. Got a good deck surface with no warpage. We're going to have good heads with very flat surface, no warpage, and we're not going to have an issue with these head gaskets again on this engine. It's just been an uphill battle every step of the way, but pretty much stopped right now. As I said, the machine shop, it's Tuesday right now. The machine shop has to order the valve guides. They probably won't be here till tomorrow, and I probably won't see my heads till Thursday at the earliest, probably Friday, which sucks because that's going to mean another week of this car. This is like week 3 now. Really feel bad for the customer, but again, it's not my customer technically. I was just called in to diagnose a misfire on this car that snowballed into the mess we have now. So is what it is. Did get a new thermostat from Subaru with a gasket. We're not doing new timing set, which I'm not too keen about, but the warranty company is not going to pay for that. It did have a newer timing set on it. The belt still has writing on it, so it's not like it's an original. I think we're at 160, 150,000 miles on this vehicle, so it most likely has about 50, 60,000 miles on the timing set, as long as it was replaced when it's supposed to be replaced. But looking at everything, we've got an aftermarket belt, but we've got Japanese original tensioner and pulley, so I assume they replaced the belt and did not replace the kit. This bearing is already sounding a little chunky. I haven't listened to the toothed cogged pulley down here, but that's normally the one that dies every single time. That's the one I see fail. So that's basically it. Like I said, I cleaned that up, decarboned the pistons. Not that it really matters. After first oil change, they'll be carbon back up again. So it's just extra little time and steps to make it look pretty. So that's basically it for right now. I will be back hopefully when I got my heads and we can finally conclude this car, this project, and put it to rest. Alright guys, we're back. Finally got my heads in. I already got one head on. Already oiled all of the threads in the block and blown it out with a blowgun. Yes, I know what hydrolocking is. Yes, I know that you don't want to leave fluid in the bottom of a bolt hole. That's why I said, you still got to coat them with a fine film of oil as well as your head bolts. So you pour oil down these holes, flip it over, drain it out, then take a blowgun, run it down in there and blow the oil out. Then you're just left with a fine film of oil on threads cut into the block. Thoroughly cleaned and inspected all the head bolts. They are great, ready to go. Just got to oil them up Put the new head gasket on here, get the second head out of the bag, get it all done. Thankfully, the machine shop was very nice and went ahead and assembled the heads for me, so I don't have to sit here and put the cam carriers in there and wait for 24 hours for the RTV to cure on them. So they're just ready to bolt on and go at this point. So it's Friday. Hopefully I'll have it in and running by the end of the day and finally get this 3-week ordeal behind me. But yep, so just a little update, not filming while I'm working. Again, I'm scattered on the floor working out of a tool bag out of the back of my Outback because it's not my shop, just called in to do the job. So I would like to have filmed on this because I have not covered a single red cam 253 with the active valve lift system on it. A little bit different with the rocker array and the oil control solenoids and things of that nature on the head as part of that system. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and throw this head on and check back with you periodically, and hopefully we'll end the video out with a running, driving Outback. Alright guys, engine's back together and in the car as you see. Only a few finishing touches left till it's time to start it. Got to put the radiator back in, airbox, air intake, engine mount, nuts, finish up the lower starter bolt, lower 2 nuts on the bell housing, and reattach the exhaust. That should do it. Go ahead and put new oil filter, new oil in it, and top up the cooling system, and this car should be ready to roll. Hopefully no more snags or issues between here and there. Alright guys, we are back. Got it running, letting the cooling system finish burping. We got basically all the air out, just waiting for the lower hose to get nice and toasty hot. We got the upper hot, both heater hoses. I hate this generation of Legacy Outback. It's always a pain to get the heater core to bleed out. Only have to take the top heater hose off a couple times to get the air to purge out. And we're sitting at 192 degrees Fahrenheit, been there for quite a while. It's a little bit chilly today, so hopefully we can get it bled out completely. Go ahead, put the cap on and test drive it and be done. Alright guys, out for the test drive right now. Don't be getting grumpy at me for videoing while driving. I'm holding the camera down here so it's out of my line of sight, and we're not having any issues. Finally got the coolant bled, topped up the oil, not seeing any leaks, knock on wood. Car seems to be driving fine. The misfire is gone. That was the initial issue with the vehicle. Bled. I already said bled the coolant. Everything is running fine, no overheating so far. Did have a slight heart attack at first startup because it started chugging just plumes of white smoke as soon as I started it. And I thought, oh God, I screwed up big time on the head gaskets, but it seems it was just residual coolant and water and stuff in the exhaust burning out from before the repair, as it cleared out within a few minutes and we have no more smoking. So just gonna go out and put 5 or 10 miles on it, make sure everything's good, bring it back around, check, make sure nothing's leaking, and the customer can finally have their car back. I hate that it took this is the beginning of week 4 on this project. This should have been a 2 to 3 day repair normally, but we had all kinds of issues with the warranty company and issues with the fact that this engine had been boogered with and incorrectly tried to been fixed in the first place, and it was just so many variables. It was just like the perfect storm of disaster with this car. So glad to see this project coming to an end, and hopefully I never come across this car again in my life. I know that sounds horrible to say, but it has really been a stressful event. Alright guys, back from the test drive. Everything under here is spick and span. We got no leaks. It ran well. No issues, so we can stick a fork in this Outback. It is done. And as I said before, we are off to the farm to cut some hay. And there we got all of the hay cut, ready to rake it, tether it, and bale it. Stupid Audi. That's what you get for speeding on the drag strip that is in front of my house. We got like a 3-mile straightaway out in the country. But yeah, all the hay is cut in the front yard in front of the Subaru ranch. LOL, Audi. And all of the hay is cut in the first pasture. Aside for that lump. Pretty sure there is a molasses tank in there, as there is rot there. So yeah, hopefully we will have bales of hay by the week's end. As you saw, I was recording someone else cutting the hay. I do not have my haying equipment anymore. It is far cheaper for me just to sell the hay standing and let them come cut and bale it themselves and carry it away than for me to reinvest in all of the haying equipment and sell it. I'd never break even or even see a profit, so always works out best this way.